Ayuk right to motion, McCaffrey backwards pass to McCaffrey, and he's going to throw downfield wide open. Brandon Ayuk, touchdown! San Francisco! He can run, he can catch,
is on fire!
Christian McCaffrey can throw! Now they go empty, and McCaffrey goes right. It is Garoppolo looking. Garoppolo under pressure, throws to the back of the end zone. Caught by Christian McCaffrey. Touchdown! CMC!
Dynamite!
One, just got it snapped in time. Inside handoff. McCaffrey finds a crack. Gets wide. 10, 5, 10. No, he got nailed on the goal line. Is he in? He's right on the goal line. What a run by Christian McCaffrey! They're going to give it to McCaffrey coming left. McCaffrey, touchdown!
Hey.
Breezy,
Mo's Nose, Season 3, Peachy, Fear the Dog. It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's Nose, Peachy, Breezy, and Fear the God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you nine and talk. We two gorilla silverback, nah, silver.
You know it's busting the discussion cause we get it in. Every time you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win, the faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's Nose, and Fear the God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Lightest talk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk.
13 days. 13 days. We got the red rum in the background. I don't know if you can see the red rum. What's going on, Mo's? Peachy's in the building. What's going on, Nitty Gritty fan? It's one of my favorite shirts, Mo's, too, by the way. And
yeah,
Peachy,
mine too.
faithful,
I like
faithful
that.
to the Bay. Peachy, faithful to the Bay. Yes. Yes. We so bright that we shining.
Yep.
How you guys doing on this this Monday?
How you doing, Mose?
Uh-oh. It's one of those days.
Yep.
Monica. Just one of those days. All right, well, we're going to get Mose. Somehow we're going to get Mose in the mood. Peachy, how was your Monday?
It actually was pretty good. It was not a mag Monday for a change, but the rain decided that, that it couldn't be a good day or like a great day. So I got rained on. So that sucked because it's talking about rain, like rain, not the regular little cute shower rain, but rain. So
like SWV rain down on me, or Melodies from Heaven, Kurt Franklin rain down.
Right.
Which rain we talking about?
Or Key Sweat. I don't want to go outside in the rain.
Okay, I was gonna go with a new edition. Can you stand the rain? You know, since we added, I can do rain songs all day.
Yes.
But you look pretty dry right now, so that's a good thing.
I dried off.
That's a good thing. Listen, today is the day before the NFL teams, all 32 NFL teams, have to submit their final 53 men roster sheets or man roster sheets, however you want to say it. So they have to submit their final 53. And most teams around the NFL are making, their due diligence. They're waiving certain players. For those out there, we're going to get down to what waiving and stuff means and things like that. When you hear the word waive, that means, players got to clear the waiver wire before they can get picked up. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But before we do, let's go ahead and get through the formalities of the show. Listen, if you're new to the stream, thank y'all so much for tuning in to Nitty Gritty Niners Talk, which we air every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's usually 4 of us. Fair right now is out coaching. A couple of Mondays out of the month, I'll be rehearsing. But since we start a little bit later, I can try to make sure I'm here at the beginning of the show. But Peachy and Mose usually holds it down every single week. And on this particular show, you know, we're going to be recapping the game and going through some film and breaking things down and what we could have done better, or what we could, you know, things like that. But on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 53. So if you're watching right here on the YouTube channel, make sure you like. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. That's important because I like that. I feel like that's when I can freely say whatever the I want to say, and you guys accept it. So make sure you leave a comment in the comment section, and do the same on Moses' channel. Trust me, we read the comments. We read the comments, all right? And listen, if you're new to the stream, please subscribe. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on an episode. Make sure your alerts are set to all and on as usual. You could follow the crew on Instagram and Twitter at NGN Talk. If you want to shoot a question to either, you know, any one of us, go ahead and add that. We all have the app to where we can respond to it, and we'll make sure we leave like our initials or something so you know who you're talking to or whatnot, you know, on there. And don't forget, you can join the Nitty Gritty group, Nitty Gritty Niners. So we have a Facebook group where we do weekly score prediction giveaways as well as monthly giveaways for the people that interact the most. So now that the season's picking back up, the lovely Miss Debbie is in charge. She manages the Facebook page. So thank you, Miss Deb. But it's a fun time, and we're going to be looking to ante up this upcoming season. So make sure you go ahead and join the Facebook group where we do the monthly giveaways, score predictions, and things like that. And just have a good time talking about the 49ers. Nice, safe space. All right. Listen. I did a show earlier this morning. I did, and I went through we get the show, I went through my I picked 3 players that I felt were locks. I'm not asking you to pick 3 players, but I'm going to give you my 3 players, and I want to know if you guys can give me one additional player until we can total it up as 5 locks on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, here are the stipulations. You can either pick a free agent that we just signed. It can be a drafted rookie or an undrafted guy. It has to be one of those 3. All right. Now, here's my 3. And I'll go from free agent because we start with free agency. I went with defensive lineman Marlon Davidson. And then I went with rookie that we drafted, Ronnie Bell. And then as far as the undrafted guy that we picked up in free agency, I went with Deshaun Jameson, the cornerback out of Texas. Who wants to go first? I'm curious to see if you can pick one from any one of those 3 particular groups. And then we got a super chat we want to get to.
Okay. So I guess I would have to go with, I don't know. You can go first, Mose. I forgot. He just said that player, actually.
What was the 3 stipulations?
It can be a rookie that we drafted. It can be a free agent that we signed in the offseason that's new to the team, or it can be an undrafted guy.
Jared Brown.
All right, so that's your drafted guy. You're going with Jair Brown. Easy lock. Peachy?
Deshaun Jameson.
I already chose him.
Oh, sorry.
That was one of Breezy's 3.
That was my undrafted guy.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on this. I should not be. John Feliciano.
Okay. All right. I like that because I'm curious to see if these guys made your actual 53-man rosters. Now, in the chat, we got some, and happy belated birthday. I see NY and the Bay's in the building. What's going on, family? You getting up there in the age. I could call you old like me now, man. So happy birthday to NY and the Bay. Inside the chat, though, they got some Jalen Graham. We got some Jalen Grahams. All right. Is he a lock? You know, listen, I like it. Let's see who else I saw in there. Cleveland Farrell, there it is, Ronnie Montoya, Cleveland Farrell. All right, so there's some free agents that we actually signed. Hurricane 774 says D. Winter, excuse me.
I like
lock.
that one.
All right. Look, I ain't even mad at you because it's a lock. It's quarterback too. I wasn't going to get mad anyway, but yeah, no one is even thinking about saying Sam Darnold. He's an automatic lock. Wow.
Oh, he completely is an automatic lock. He ain't going nowhere. Completely locked in as quarterback too.
Completely
So
locked in.
saith Kyle Shanahan.
So saith Kyle. And asked again today, hey, Kyle, what made you pick him?
Yeah.
I don't even understand what Kyle's talking about anymore. Anyway, Debbie Ryan says the more you interact on the Facebook page, the more likely you are to win the monthly prizes for the most engagements.
Yes, that's true.
We forgot to shout out the Breezy's Bunch crew. They were in here early in the
Yes,
building,
were.
so we want to give them a shout out. Shout out to Troy. Brock Purdy days till season starts. That means it's 13 days. And speaking of Troy, 9-month member.
We love you, Troy.
Appreciate you, fam. Love everything that's going on. 49er Jeff is in the building. Jax Knox is in the building. Coach Cruz is in the building. Jason Hess in the building. My man Marty Ma, 49er Empire in the building. Raphael 562 in the building. Oscar is in the building. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And speaking of that, we're gonna start the show off with a super chat from Jax Knox. The super chat contribution that says, hope you guys have a great show. We got to get Mo's mojo is off.
Yeah, we
gotta
gotta
figure it out.
Thank you, Jax, for the awesome super chat. We appreciate that.
So we gotta try to figure out what's wrong with Mo's. We'll get it. We'll get it. I promise. We'll get to it. Grizz, what's going on, man? I see you out there, Grizz. Ronnie Bell is his lock. I'm not gonna, We'll talk about that. All right, so let's get to some news. We got some new news and some not so new news. Let's get to the latest as far as what's going on with the San Francisco 49ers. Let's start with the injury report because god dang it's long. All right, so Jake Moody with the right quad day-to-day. Zane Gonzalez calf strain out for a few weeks. Chris Conley sprained AC joint day-to-day. Taylor Hawkins broken hand, needs surgery. Running back Jordan Mason foot sprain day-to-day. Cameron Latou meniscus knee surgery, and then Talanoa Hufanga with the Baker's cyst, aka fluid behind the knee, aka if he don't get the proper treatment for this, guess what it can lead to? Meniscus. The meniscus in the knee. So I felt like we've seen Javon Kinlaw
Go through that. Yes,
deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like so. No knees. I don't want to see any knee action other than knees working properly for these players on the football field. But that's a long damn injury report. Getting through the preseason. Like, are you worried? Like, I mean, Hufanga. I mean, some of these names okay, but Hufanga, we need him out there, right? Or does this give the opportunity for Jair Brown to step up?
I think it's one and the same. I think it can be both things can be true. I think it gives Jair Brown a chance to step up, but Huff is everywhere.
Everywhere.
And he is a playmaker on defense. So to not have him or to have him sparingly throughout the season, I think it's going to be tough on the back end, especially with the camaraderie that him and T. Gip have built together.
The communication, everything.
And how they communicate. So
Definitely.
it's going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Let's get to the report that came out a little bit earlier today. So, because we want to circle those two kickers that are on the injury report, Jake Moody, Zane Gonzalez. And I'm not sure if he made any of your rosters, if those guys made your rosters, but the 49ers did work out two kickers today. A former 49er, he kicked, I think, for a year, Tristan Vizcaino. And then Taylor Russolino also worked out for the 49ers as well. I think he used to kick, I can't remember who he kicked around. I want to say the Broncos at one point. But we're going to be going into the season with possibly a unfamiliar face kicking the ball. Like, what are your thoughts about that, Peachy? Like,
Yeah, I'm definitely not thrilled about that. And the two that we brought in, I think one of them was here before. I think.
Tristan was
Yeah.
here. Yes.
And I don't know. Hopefully we won't have to do it for long. That's all I gotta say. Hopefully one of the kickers will be back. Either Zane or Jake. Hopefully Jake will be back first.
So if Jake is back healthy, are you comfortable with Jake Moody being your kicker for the 2023 season?
I am.
I'm asking you. So
Yeah.
explain
Yes.
why. Like, let everybody know why.
Why? Because again, like he was the best kicker in the draft, which is why we got him. Scouts did a lot of work on him. He was a great kicker in college. He was also kicking really well for us in practices. Games, preseason games, it was up and down. But, again, he's kicking in weird winds and everything's different. So we can't just throw him away because he missed a couple of field goal kicks, because everyone does. Even the greatest kickers in the NFL have missed kicks. So we cannot do that. Yeah.
Alex wanted to know, did one of them kick in the NFL? Yeah. XFL, yes.
Yeah.
The second one did. So not Tristan. Tristan was Taylor Russolino also kicked in the pros as well, but his last job was with one of the XFL teams. So
Right.
they both have NFL experience. They're not just XFL players or whatnot. So it's gonna be interesting. Pocket the Cheesecake says we're gonna have a 53-man roster where 3 are gonna be kickers. So that's 3 plus 2. That's 5 special team players. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I think they move away from Zane. I think they're okay with him. Move on from him. He's not going to hurt the team. I think they go with Jake. They bring in one of these guys to start the season off, and then as Jake heals, they get him back into the thing. What are your thoughts? Like, how do you guys feel about something like that? That could possibly be a scenario. Unless one of these kickers they sign come in kicking 50, 60-yard field goals, which I hope the 49ers don't have to attempt, right? We're hoping we don't even have to attempt the field
Yeah, that we
goals
shouldn't
in the
even
first
be
place.
back that
Yeah.
that
But-
far to. Right.
Reality is we're going to have to. Derek Parks over on Facebook says, did we sign a kicker? Not yet. Remember, Jake Moody's listed day to day. I'm not sure if he practiced today, but I do know they worked out 2 kickers. So there's a possibility he didn't practice today. And if he didn't, they did work out a couple of kickers. But Zane Gonzalez is set to miss a few weeks. I'm not stashing 2 kickers. I'll get one and possibly sign one.
Yeah.
It's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
As far as news, guess who's back at
And I
practice?
think-
George. Oh, go ahead.
And I think we'll know how bad Moody's injury is depending on when we sign a kicker. If we sign a kicker this week, then that tells me that his injury is more severe than what they're saying it is. If we don't sign a kicker until a few days before we play Pittsburgh, then that lets me know it wasn't that bad, and they tried to see how far they could stretch it. And when they got to Wednesday of the week leading up to the Pittsburgh game, they said, okay, we're at our Wednesday practice. Jake isn't ready to go. We've already worked out these 2 guys. We know which one we want. Call up his agent, get the deal done, get him in here for Wednesday's practice. So I feel like depending on when we sign a guy will let us know the severity of Moody's injury. So I'm hoping that we don't have to sign either one of them and that Moody will be ready to go week 1.
Hey, Peachy, why do you think the 49ers just won't pick up the phone and call Robbie Gould? He's good as gold.
Because of how much he costs. Because he wants a lot.
Okay.
From us,
Possible.
anyway.
I mean, from anybody. He doesn't have a job, so it ain't just from us. I mean, if that
I
was
know
the case,
that,
he'd probably
but
be working.
a lot of people think that he would overprice this to where if he goes to somewhere else, he might ask for a little bit less or something like that.
I mean, if that was the case, he'd have a job.
Because he's
I don't think
a little bit offended by us, I guess, or whatever. So
Offended? Offended for? I wonder what he's offended by.
when he came out and he said, that he was expecting us to reach out to him, and we didn't. So
I don't know, man. Cats got to get over their feelings. So it's football. Can't have them type of emotions. But at the end of the day, he is pricey, and he is a vet. and he probably would cost about $7-8 million. And I know the 49ers, I think that's what it was, and the 49ers weren't trying to pay a kicker $7-8 million.
Right. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to just stick around and see. And like Mo said, if depending on like when they sign this kicker, but they are working out kickers. They might even bring in more kickers tomorrow at practice to work out other kickers. So no one's been signed yet, and as of now, Zane Gonzalez, a few weeks, Jake Moody, day to day. So we'll see how that pans out. Let's get to the news for the 49ers. Safety George Odom returned to practice today. He's wearing a blue non-contact jersey, and Elijah Mitchell was back at practice dressed fresh to impress. So let's talk about this, because Elijah Mitchell's been dealing with this adductor strain, and it's ironic that on cut day, or whatever you want to call it,
That he brings his ass and shows up for practice.
not only did he bring his behind, that boy was dressed
I'm just saying.
fresh whites, no, fresh reds, whatever color they wear on out there. But no, seriously, it's just funny. But me personally, I'm praying and hoping that Elijah Mitchell is healthy,
Right.
because he's the second best running back on the team,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And they were just, being precautionary, as far as whatever with him, because of how easy it is for him lately, as of late, to get hurt. So maybe they were just taking it as easy as possible with him, and that he was already better. They just, were like, well, you're not playing in the preseason game, so there's no reason for you to even show up until today for practice. So
Thoughts on Mitchell, Mose? How you feeling about Elijah Mitchell, bro?
For me, I'm wait and see. I think I agree with you. I think he is the second best running back when healthy. The problem is him staying healthy. I think this offense is so much better than what people realize, especially people outside of the building, when we have that 1-2 punch with CMC and Mitchell. So if he cannot stay healthy, and we have to rely on JP Mason and TDP, which I'm okay with, because the way they've run this offseason, they're both ready. They're both healthy. They both improved. So I'm absolutely fine with that. But, I would much rather it be Mitchell. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how healthy he can stay. And then we'll also have to see, there's this narrative going around the league that, or at least this generation, this generation is softer than previous generations. A lot of stuff that players used to play through, they don't play through now. I can understand some of it. In previous generations, those guys were playing for their lives. And now in this generation, these guys don't have to do that as much. So they're thinking about the business. They're thinking about longevity. But at some point, as long as it's not, something that's affecting your knees, your feet, ankles, that, is important for you as a running back to run and cut. I want to see if he can play through some of this stuff. Suck it up. Play through some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Give all you got until you can't give anymore. And that's a lot to ask for somebody that's sitting on the sideline, somebody that doesn't, put on the helmets and the pads every day and every week like these guys do. But I would like to see him try to push through some of that stuff, play through a little bit of pain. We've seen some of our leaders do it. We've seen Trent do it. We've seen Kittle do it. We've seen Debo do it. We've seen Ayuk do it. We've seen guys on defense do it. So, it seems like he has a lot of the small, minor knick-knack injuries. So at some point, I want to see him play through that stuff.
yeah, it's like Kyle said, there's a difference between being hurt and injured.
Yeah.
And sometimes you You know.
I'm not gonna risk. I don't think he could play with fucked up knees. I'm gonna keep.
Oh
it a
no
buck.
no no.
I don't think.
Oh
he
yeah,
can
Not like that, yeah.
I excluded that. Knees, feet, ankles.
But if you talk about the injuries now, it's an adductor strain, which can lead to groin,
Yes.
which will be way more nagging.
It can get
So
worse.
I
Yeah.
think this is more precautionary from the team,
Yeah, I think so,
opposed
too.
to him like not getting out there and sucking it up. Like you know what I'm saying? So like I'm hoping that that's what it is, and you know. The knees really screwed him up last year. It was so weird. He
Yes.
gets one knee injury, he comes back from that, gets the next knee gets injured. I'm like, dude, like jump over him or something. Like stretch your adductor, do something. But the way he runs, he's running. You remember back in the day, running backs, like they would take their knees and just bang your helmet. Like I don't think they wear knee pads anymore. I don't know what today's football players currently
Right.
dress in. It doesn't look like it looks like they're out there to be faster, quicker, more sleek, opposed to
Right.
more protection. And I think because of that, players are getting them injuries a little bit more. But when it comes to Elijah Mitchell, I'm not giving him a pass. He does have to be healthy. Availability is his best ability. And when you got young guys like TDP and JP Mason trying to move up on the depth chart, your job is you ain't CMC. You know what I'm saying? So like your
Right.
job is questionable. Like your job is in
Yeah.
jeopardy. So he has to get out there, like you guys said. But I'm hoping Kyle Shanahan and the training team, they saw the adductor strain and they were like, you know what? Let's just put him on ice and let's
Exactly.
just let that kind of like mellow itself out. But during the season, I would play through an adductor strain.
And to me, not having Mitchell out there was good because you really got to see Mason and TDP and what
Yes.
they have
Yeah, good point.
to offer. And it's pretty damn good. So I'm glad that they, were able to get out there and kind of showcase themselves because he wasn't out there. So yep.
I didn't want to read this comment out loud, so I'm just going to post it. So for those that are watching it, they can. I thought people forgot about her, but guess not.
Absolutely not.
Oh no.
Absolutely not. And the
Never.
fact that Chase and Bay spelt that shit right, he gets the extra bell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good job, Jason.
But as far as George Odom, I believe he went down around week 2 of August. He's kind of been MIA. This is going to be a guy that's going to come out there and make a safety spot. I don't know if you guys have him on your roster, but he's probably going to make a spot as a safety on your roster. He is a all-pro special teams player. But there might be some players that might show him up. Like Quantrez Knight looked good this year in camp. There's some players out there. So I don't think anybody, I mean, certain jobs are safe, but you got to be out there, all pro or not. George Odom, if the team feels like other players can give others, some things that he can give, it's a possibility, even though he's got that guaranteed contract this year. We're going to see what happens. But it's good that he's back at practice, but he was wearing a non-contact jersey, so that blue jersey, all right? So speaking of practice, so Brock Purdy in practice was limited. He wasn't able to go like full throttle, according to the reports. They said it had nothing to do with his elbow. This is what was reported. But I'm going to ask you guys. You watched the same game I watched. And yes, those throws were accurate and quick. But do you guys think he's going to struggle, possibly get the intermediate routes and getting the ball downfield? Do you think that might be something that he still has to work up the nerve, the strength to get to, or what? Because it seemed like every time he's been in the game, it's been what? I mean, people call it dink and dunk, and I'm cool with dink and dunk. Don't get it twisted. As long as it's positive yards, you Gucci. But it just seems like those have been his plays, but they have nicely marched the team right down the field into scoring position. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on Brock Purdy being limited in practice. I'm sure it'll ramp up. There's nothing to practice for as of right now, but he was limited. Any concerns?
Yeah, most.
I am concerned a little bit because he's a 23-year-old. And I think to this point, he's played enough in practice to where he doesn't need to be limited. A week or two ago, he had restrictions lifted. So whether this is coming from him or whether this is coming from Kyle, just to make sure he's ready for the season, it does concern me just a little bit because at this point, why do you still need to be limited in practice? If anything, I would want to see you go full throttle these next 2 weeks, getting prepared for Pittsburgh, because once the season gets here, you're going to be in games. You're going to be in first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. It's not like you're coming out after 2 drives and somebody else is going in. And although we don't typically want our quarterbacks to throw 25, 30 times a game, there may be situations where a defense is forcing us to do that very thing. Our running game may not be as potent from week to week as we like it to be, and he's going to have to throw the football. So I'd rather you build up that stamina in that arm now so that when we get to week 10, week 12, week 14, we're not hearing reports about arm fatigue. So yeah, I am a little bit worried that he's limited. It's not, something to be overly concerned about. But at this point, Trent Williams being limited, cool. He's 35, 36 years old. Any one of our older guys being limited, cool. But for Brock, getting ramped up, and then with everything that has gone on the past couple of days with the quarterback position, is this, again, this is speculation, but we need to talk about all the caveats here. Is this more of an opportunity for Kyle to get Sam Darnold more ingratiated into this offense? Oh, Brock, we're going to limit you, just precautionary. We'll make sure the arm is good. And now most of those reps go to Sam Darnold to kind of fast track his understanding of the offense. That's just something to think about.
Good point. I think that's really great. A great way to kind of like put it, because I was kind of thinking on that same linear of like, it's possible Sam Darnold just you got to get him you got to make sure Sam Darnold is well prepared for the emergency situation if something is to go down. We're not saying Brock is going to get injured, but if it happens, you know what I'm saying, then Sam Darnold definitely has to be ready. After the last preseason game against twos, he didn't look too good to me. Like, he didn't look as comfortable as he did going against the threes, even though people, whatever. But you get what I'm trying to say. Like, so maybe he does need more reps, and he was getting some reps with the one. I heard he had a great throw to Brandon Ayuk and things like that. So it's good, but I'm concerned. I believe that Brock is healthy, but you gotta temper it and you gotta manage it, right? You don't want to overwork it, like, you know what I'm saying? Because if you do, and then it breaks, then what? So like, I get why he might have been limited, but come football season, I don't want to hear any excuses, any limitations, anything like that. Come practice for the Pittsburgh week. So there's no practice for Pittsburgh this week, right? It's the week off, basically, as far as they're probably still doing their final install or whatever with the offense, right? But then next week, it's Pittsburgh week. That means they're going to practice 2 times at home, maybe 3, get on that flight, get there, have the walkthrough, and call it, and then it's game time. I just want to make sure that, Brock is prepped and ready to go for that game, because that's what's important, not practice hearsay. So I wouldn't be too concerned, but I am worried that even though they said it's not injury related, I'm wondering if they're still kind of giving him some time to kind of make sure his arm, his elbow is good to go.
Yep.
Just my thoughts on it.
That is literally like what I was going to add to it, and that's it. I agree with that with Moles, and I agree with you. The only thing I was going to add to was what you just said, that maybe they just want to make sure that he's 100% and he's ready, but he's still getting some reps. They're just limiting his reps a little bit, and I guess they'll ramp him up, just like you said, probably because next week, though, they're going to have no choice. He's going to have to be all like full speed ahead.
Defense will be full speed.
Right, exactly. So, that'll be, the real practice. Practices will be next week. So that's probably, just like you said, that's exactly what they're probably doing, is they're just trying to make sure that, he gets some reps, but that he also watches that and makes sure that it continues to completely heal. So
love it.
it's ready to go.
Guys, it's that time. It's time to start our final 53. Now, I am going to put on some background music because I'm just what I'm just going to do. And we're going to get this popping, all right? So let me... All right. I feel like I'm about to go work out or something. All right, so let's get down to this final 53. I feel like we all have...
Is this a beat that you made?
Nah, this is stuff that's in StreamYard. This is StreamYard stuff.
I was about to say this is terrible.
Mo said
I didn't want to say that if you made it.
No, you know good and well, Bruce.
Nah, you couldn't
made
tell.
this.
I can handle constructive criticism. So no, this is just that bull crap on StreamYard. All right, so let's get to this final 53. I think maybe we don't. You know what? We'll save that to the end. I was getting way ahead of myself. All right, way ahead of myself. All right, let's talk about the quarterbacks. Let's start with the quarterback position. PG, how many quarterbacks do you have on your 53-man roster?
I have two.
All right, so PG has two. All right, so your two are
QB1 and QB2.
and
Purdy and Darnold.
Rose. So I think we all agree.
Same.
We all have two quarterbacks. We all have the same two quarterbacks. I actually have Sam Darnold as my quarterback 1 and Brock Purdy as my quarterback 2. That's my depth chart. It is cap. But all right, let's go to the running backs excluding the fullback. All right, the running backs excluding the fullback.
Oh Lord, we have no surprises in here.
Okay.
It's just CMC, Mitchell, Mason, and TDP.
All right.
There's no Brian Hill. There's none of that other stuff. It ain't gonna be no shocking whatever. Yeah.
So those are your 4. Mose, who do you have?
Same 4.
Same 4 here. How many fullbacks you guys got?
7.
Wait a minute. You got 7 fullbacks? Well, you talk about me capping. What the hell?
At least
bro?
he's smiling now.
Ain't even no 7 fullbacks on this squad, bro. That's 2 and a possible.
True. We already know who that is.
All right, so it's Kyle Juszczyk. I was just curious to see if Jack Coletto
If somebody
made
was gonna put
anybody's
Coletto on there, yeah.
roster.
I just don't think that there's room. There's just too many. Like, in order to put Coletto on there, you would have to knock off somebody. And
I mean, there's plenty of people you can knock off.
I don't
If
know.
you want them on your roster.
I know.
No,
Wow.
Just juicy.
he's not juice yet.
Does he have to be Juice yet?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
What
Tight end.
Juice does in this offense, as far as blocking, his receiving out of the backfield, his knowledge of the offense.
I mean, he's also played in the league for 55 fucking years, but
That
Coletto has to get the reps to do that. You saw him come in the game, get a touchdown, be out. Matter of fact, his first touchdown was from quarterback 1, Sam Darnold. Just saying.
You keep saying QB1 like
I just got a weird feeling. Anyway, look.
Don't do that.
Like, I will say that that Jack Coletto, the thing that I liked about Coletto was the move that he put on the cornerback to get in the end zone. I thought that was kind of dope. I wasn't expecting that. I'm a fullback. That's the position I played. If I caught that pass, I would have trucked that cornerback. I would have tried to take that cornerback's life. But like Mo said, in 2023, It's a different type of player out there on the
game.
football field. Interesting. I like this. I like this a lot. All right. This is where I'm hoping it gets a little gritty. All right. We are at the wideouts. Okay. So, Peachy, how many wideouts do you have?
6.
Mose, how many wideouts do you have?
6.
And I have 6 wideouts as well. It was just tough because I thought I was going to go with 5, but I couldn't. So, Peachy, Mose, we can all agree. Debo, Brandon, Juwan, them top 3?
Yes.
Correct.
All right, Peachy, who's your 4th wideout?
Bell.
Mose, who's your 4th wideout?
Ray.
Ray Ray's my 4th wideout as well. Peachy, who's your 5th wideout?
Ray.
Mose, who's your 5th wideout?
Ronnie Bell.
My 5th wideout is, believe it or not, Danny Gray. Who's your 6th wideout? Peachy.
Danny Gray.
Okay. Mose, who's your 6th wideout?
Tay Martin.
Ooh.
And then my 6 is gonna be
I
Ronnie
like it.
Bell. So we got some discourse right here, and I like it.
it.
So Mose, Peachy and I have all the same players. Peachy, you can explain why you chose Danny Gray as your 6th. And Mose, explain why you chose Tay Martin.
I just feel like with Gray that they can always stash him if they need to. I think he make a great stash that we have right there. If he because he's supposed to come back sometime in like 4 weeks or something like that.
It's a collarbone, so the
Right.
timeline is 4 to 8 weeks.
4 to 8 weeks, that's right. But he's supposed to come back sometime in the season. I just feel like that when he's gonna make this team because of what he does with special teams when he comes back. I still don't like him like out there receiving because he's a deep threat, and I just don't see us getting the ball down the field as a deep threat that often. And that was one reason why I felt like that he wouldn't make the team, is because I just don't think that he fits. But on special teams, he's pretty good on special teams. I think that he'll still make it.
Okay. Mose, why did you go with Tay Martin?
I went Tay Martin because we need healthy receivers available on game day. I think we already are going to have Ray on the 53-man roster, and we're going to put him on IR. So, while, we can take 2 wide receivers and put both of them IR and then pick up 2 other guys, I feel like I only want to do that with one guy. And who am I going to do it with as far as with what Peachy talked about? If Danny Gray is going to come back and his only value add is special teams, that's what we have Ray for. We've added Ronnie Bell into that equation. And then we'll talk about another guy later who I think is going to get added into that equation as well. So for me, I already have 2 and a possible on this roster for that particular role. He doesn't have any value for me. So give me Tay Martin, who has been in this building, we have developed, and now we're starting to see some of the fruits of that labor. He gives us another big body in the event that Juwan Jennings goes down. Juwan Jennings 6'3", 215. Tay Martin's like 6'3", 205. So again, we get another tall, lanky receiver with a wide catch radius. He can stretch out and make those, tough catches if needed. So I went with the young guy that's healthy, that's a better route runner and a better fit for the offense that we're trying to run over Danny Gray. Love his speed, but we got Debo, we got Ayuk, we got Ronnie Bell. I think we're covered on speed from the wide receiver position.
I like it, man. I like it. I'm a little different. My philosophy is probably the opposite of yours. You cut Danny Gray, you're going to lose Danny Gray. I don't know if I'm willing to give up on speed as of yet. Kid's going into year 2, and he's showed signs and flashes of progression. Kyle did talk about speed. and how he likes that element in his offense. If you can get Danny Gray as a blocking receiver as well as, a guy that can, run a quick slant. I don't need you to run a route. Just give me a slant and take off. I mean, that could be something that we can be utilizing come, the second half of the season. But I think if you cut Gray, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Kyle will be okay with letting go of a third-round draft pick. I believe that's what he was. So that's what you're essentially looking for. Now, there's a possibility if you waive him, he clears waivers.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if you want to take that gamble because it comes down to gambling. Now, as far as the veterans, let me talk about the veterans because I know a lot of people are talking about Chris Conley they're talking about Willie Snead. These are veterans with more than four or more accrued seasons. All right. Now, Conley is dealing with a shoulder injury as well. Willie Snead will probably be one of the healthy of the veterans. Anthony Miller should be the first one waived, in my opinion. I probably wish we would have kept Daz Newsome over Anthony Miller. Daz Newsome showed more flashes and signs, but he's gone as well. And there's a possibility that they bring Daz Newsome back as well. But with the veterans, the veterans, you can stash, I believe, there's going to be 17 practice squad roster spots. When you cut a veteran, you're not when you let go of a veteran, you're essentially just cutting them and they are free. They don't have to clear waivers.
Right.
If they have more than 4 accrued seasons. Willie Snead, Chris Conley, they fall into that category. Even Ray McLeod falls into that category. So that might be another veteran wide receiver that they possibly cut and then try to bring back. I don't think they should. I think they probably will have those 2 hurt guys. I think they'll both find a way to make the roster, and then they'll do the due diligence. I think you put Ray on the pup, give him 4 weeks to come back, and I think you place Danny Gray on the IR, and then you bring back some of these guys you were talking about, like a Tay Martin. I don't think the league is up on the Tay Martin film as of yet. I'm hoping. I mean, like I said, it's a gamble. I could be wrong.
Snead,
it's a gamble.
Snead to me is kind of like who is the one that we got? Matthews. He's kind of like that.
Jordan Matthews?
He's kind of, as far as, like knowing the system, knowing because he was here last year and everything. And he seems like that he might just be one of those, that it's possible that he may make it. And then when, we get somebody back, he might be moved off, just like Matthews was, back and forth, put on the practice squad and then put back out there and whatever. But I feel like that we do need a veteran, and Snead would be that veteran. I don't feel like that Conley fits. Andy's hurt. I don't think that he fits what they're trying to do out there now that Lance is gone, and Snead does. Snead just fits almost anywhere, really. I really do like Snead. Everybody knows how I feel about the veteran receivers. I feel like that you need something, that can provide that leadership and everything like that for them. Even though our guys are, Debo and Ayuk are getting up there now as far as it goes about teaching the younger ones, just like you said, Breezy, how they took Bell under their wing and, are teaching him and stuff. So it depends on the 49ers look at it. They might, look at the emergence of Bell and how that's because of, Debo and Ayuk, just stepping in, with that leadership role. So we'll see.
Now, did Snead make your list?
No, he did not make my list.
Oh.
I was just talking because you were talking about the vets, and I was just talking about the vets. And the chat was talking about the vets too.
I just think that Snead, regardless, he performs well every year and doesn't make the squad. So
gotcha.
Yeah,
so he's not going to make the 53 once
but
he's going to be once we designate where we put Ray, then I think he'll be the guy that's called up.
Right. I mean, the first guy too.
Gotcha.
A, he's healthy.
Yeah, because Conley isn't healthy. Yep.
Right. I thought Conley,
I would have picked Conley over Snead if he was healthy.
Yes.
But since he's not, we got to go with Snead.
Conley's been consistently that dude throughout training camp and preseason.
For sure.
He's been consistently that guy. Like, he was definitely catering to more toward Trey Lance. You could tell they had that rapport. But now that Trey's gone, he was trying to find it with Sam Darnold, who made a nice throw and he made a nice dive and catch. I think that was the play that even got him injured. But
Yeah, and that's what Conley said. Conley said, "Great call by Kyle, great throw by Sam. I was just lucky enough to be able to make the catch. Unfortunately, I got injured on the play as well. So he's like, it was a lot of positive and with that one negative. So
yeah. All right. So we all have 6, and that's pretty damn cool. I like that. All right. I think we're even as far as who we have on our offense. Here we go. This is where it's going to get tricky. Linemen. All right. Let's start with the number of
tight ends.
Oh, I thought we did tight ends. Tight ends. I'm sorry. How many you guys got?
4.
Peachy?
4.
I have 4. George Kittle's the lock. All right. So after that, this is where it's going to get different. Peachy, who's your next tight end after Kittle?
Dwelly.
Mose, who's your next tight end after Kittle?
Ross the Boss.
I got Ross the Boss too. You know what? Why do I feel like Kyle gonna do him dirty?
I don't think he can.
You don't think he? Okay. I just feel like every year, Ross makes amazing catches. I know he can't. He's not the best blocking tight end, but damn, he can catch, right? And
He
then
can get
all
open
of a sudden,
and he can catch the rock.
they let him go, and he ends back on the squad. But I have him making the squad this year. I do. We all do. Who's your third, Peachy?
Warner.
All right, Mose.
Yeah, 89.
I'm with you, 89. That doesn't flash too much in the passing game, but he had some pretty solid blocks. We know he's that blocking tight end, probably the second best as of right now to George Kittle when it comes to blocking. All right, here we go. Here's the 4th. Peachy, who you got as your 4th?
Willis.
All right, Mose.
Same.
So we have the same 4 tight ends. Interesting. Why Braden Willis, Peachy?
Because I feel like that he flashed and he can block.
Okay.
And that's what Kyle looks for. Just that simple. To flash and be noticed so that you can, you know what I'm saying, just see him enough. I would have liked to have seen him more, but you're trying to evaluate these young tight ends and stuff, so you're not gonna, you know what I'm saying, like you're just gonna see what you see. But I like him. I do like him.
Mose, why'd you choose Braden Willis?
I mean, I should have. It's kind of like the Ray situation, so I should have put Cam Latu because I feel like he'll make the squad and he'll get stashed because of the meniscus injury.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He's hurt.
So I think he'll make the squad. We'll stash him, and then we'll bring back Braden Willis. I mean, that's what I should have put. I just copied and pasted yours and just made edits, but I saw his name there, and I was like, yeah, he's going to be on the team. So I didn't change it, but that's why I have him there, because he is going to take that 4th spot because Cam Latu is hurt.
That's right.
Cam
I
Latu
forgot
will get stashed.
about that too.
We'll wait till next year. And that's when I said I don't think Kyle can do Ross dirty this year because Latu is hurt. If Latu was healthy and didn't have that meniscus tear, I think he finds a way to keep both Latu and Willis, and either one of Ross Dwelly or Charlie Warner gets cut. But that can't happen now.
I like that. Just looking out where he lined up so far in the preseason. In line, total 45 times, and then he lined up in the slot 9 times. He lined up wide out once. He's pretty darn good on special teams. I mean, that's kind of like where you got him. I thought Cameron Latu flashed in the receiving game. Weeks 2 in weeks 2, like mainly. So I'm not. It's unfortunate that he has the the meniscus injury. I get the funny feeling he'll be that player that the 49ers designate to the IR. He misses the season. So that's why I didn't have him on my list. I don't think you have to bring him back this year. I think you can go ahead and put him on the IR, walk away. I think he goes on the IR and possibly Darrell Luter Jr. I think they go on the IR. Now, let me just explain the IR so that everybody understands the injury reserve. Now, if you go into the IR before you make the 53-man roster, you're done for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to make sure everybody's clear on that. All right? Now, if you make the roster, you go into the IR, the 49ers can designate to bring you back after, 6 weeks? I can't remember. Was it 4 weeks?
It's 4 weeks.
All right. I know the PUP was something. There's something similar as far as when they could bring you back. Now, you can put as many players on the IR as you want, but you can only bring back people 8 times. That's the catch. And last year, that bit us in the ass.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it did.
We brought back Elijah Mitchell. He was fine until the NFC Championship game, and then he was out. Mm-hmm. And so that last roster, and it wasn't his fault. It happened earlier in the season though, where they kind of messed up. I think they had like Curtis Robinson on there.
Yeah,
brought him back. It was weird, but the pup is 4 weeks. I thought, okay, that's what I thought. But no, it's an interesting trick that I think Kyle's gonna play. So tomorrow you may hear those names first. Players that may get designated to the IR. Now you've heard the 49ers put players on the IR earlier. Taco Charlton was the last one, but then they settled for the injury settlement. Now, Mose, I'm not clear on this, but if you settle for the injury settlement, does that now mean you're a free agent and you don't have to miss the season with another team?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, can the 49ers re-sign him if they pay the injury settlement?
I believe they can.
Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, to what may possibly go down.
They can.
I want to say that
because if he's a free agent, he can go anywhere he wants to go. Now, if somebody before the 49ers
for sure
calls him and needs him, then he can go there. But I believe he can.
So Oscar's saying he cannot resign. So we'll make sure we have that information or whatever. They have to clear waivers. They don't have to clear waivers, not if they've been paid off from the injury settlement. I think they're done. Like he's been there for a couple of days, but we're gonna find out. So the Niners may not be able to re-sign him. So we're about to find out. All right, John Chapman. He said it was confirmed by John Chapman that he cannot resign. All right. So a lot of people are saying that you cannot resign. All right. So that's their loss. The 49ers took a chance on him, and interesting. Because what was his injury?
See. So that's not true.
Okay.
Injury settlements. Injury settlement keeps the player from going on IR for the rest of the season. If a player and the team come to an injury settlement, a player is released and compensated for the amount of time agreed upon by both parties in which the injury would keep the player from being able to perform their NFL duties. The player is then free to sign with any team at that point, but may not sign back with the original team until the length of the injury settlement has concluded, as well as an additional 3 weeks. So you can resign.
You can resign with the same team.
So for example, if Taco Charlton and the 49ers settled on the injury settlement for 4 weeks, we would have to wait 4 weeks plus an additional 3 weeks. So we wouldn't be able to sign him after 7 weeks.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
Guys, we literally just read, like Mose literally read exactly what it said.
In there.
It says like right there that you can resign.
Well, don't worry about them. So we're just giving them the information. They'll figure it out. Like we don't have to clap back at them.
And we just, I'm not. It's not season-ending IR on the injury settlement. It says that injury settlement keeps the player from
Right.
going on IR for the rest of the season.
But what happened?
That was the first sentence.
I think what Oscar's saying is that it was seizing. It wasn't seizing in the IR. When you put this is why the rules are tricky, right? Because when you place a player on IR before they sign, they get signed to the roster. Excuse me, the 53-man roster. It is designated as season ending. But when the team and the player comes to an injury settlement, it negates the season-ending IR. It frees the player up to become a free agent, and then that person can go sign with a different team. They may re-sign with the same team if that person remains unsigned after those 4 weeks. Plus, the team would have to wait an additional 3 weeks. That's how it works, according to the rules.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens, man. Keep your alerts. I mean, Taco might go back to the Cowboys. I don't know. I'm just saying. What's going on? All right, interesting. So we are officially now we got to get to the linemen. We got to the tight ends. We're almost done with the offense, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with us. Thank y'all for sticking in. Make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget, we'll get to the super chats at the end of the show. All right, we want to get through these 53-man rosters. So far, I like what we have. We have a couple of different players. Peachy, how many offensive linemen do you have?
9.
All right, you have 9. Mm-hmm. All right. Mose?
8.
Now, I have 8 as well. And I'm going to put Alfredo Gutierrez will make the roster, but he doesn't count against the 53-man roster because of the international player program. All right. So technically we have 9, but I think only 8 make this roster. So Peachy, I think we all will agree with the starting 5. Trent Williams, Aaron Bakes, Jake Brendel, Spencer Burford, Colton McKivitz.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Peachy, give me your next player after those 5.
Okay, well, I put Jake Brendel under here.
Yeah, he's part of the starting 5. He's the center.
Oh, all right. Never mind. Hold on. Then I got my list jacked up.
So, Mose, give me...
Poe.
Oh, Jason Poe. Okay.
Yes.
She has Jason Poe up there. All right. Interesting choice. Mose, who do you have after the starting 5?
Jalen Moore.
All right. I went with... I have Jalen Moore on my list, but I went with Il Manning. I think Il Manning worked his way onto this roster spot, and I know if they cut him
too.
He's going to be Gucci gone as quick as, so I got Il Manning. Peachy, who do you have after Poe?
I have Manning there.
Okay. Mose, who do you have after Poe? I mean, after your Moore, sorry.
I have Il Manning, yeah.
All right. And so then my next guy up was going to be John Feliciano. All utility offensive lineman, could play guard, can play some right tackle, can play center. Didn't look too good in the preseason, but he's a serviceable player. I didn't think Daniel Brunskill was all that great until he got reps in the system. And, so I feel like that's who we're replacing with Feliciano. Peachy, who do you have after Il Manning?
Feliciano.
All right, you have Feliciano. Mose, who do you have after your Il Manning?
Joey Fisher.
Ooh.
Oh. Okay.
So your 8 is complete, correct?
That's my 8.
Shoot. So my 8th is going to be Jalen Moore. Highlight Joey Fisher name. He didn't make my list. I want you to talk about him in a second. Peachy has 1 extra. So Peachy has 8 and she went with 9. So Peachy, who's your 9th?
I'm trying to make sure I counted these right. I think I put 1 too many on here, but it's Moore.
Jalen Moore. So I mean, all right. So you went with 9.
I see what I did. Yeah, I got myself mixed up and put the same name down twice. Yeah, I got it.
Wait, whose name did you put down twice?
I put down Moore twice because when I was counting, looking at it, No, I had 9. It's just that when I went back and double counted, I had 10. So it's
Okay.
fine. But it's just because it was double. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
got
9.
you. Okay. All right. All right. So if I'm not mistaken, before Mose talks about because you and Peachy, I want you to talk about your differences. So Mose, you have Joey Fisher, and Peachy, you have Jason Poe. So get ready to talk. But go ahead, Peachy. Jason Poe, give it to us. Why did you choose Jason Poe? How does he make this roster?
Well, because one, we need to make sure that we have enough depth on this darn thing because together there's quite a few of them that, are going to need each other. So I figure that the 49ers might choose Poe to do it because he also got some props from the veterans on this team. So that's
He
why
does get
I
props
put him
from the
down.
vets.
Yeah.
But what is his performance like? I mean, how has his performance been?
It
from what you've
wasn't
seen?
like it wasn't nothing that stand out for me, but there's quite a few of them that are on here that also did not stand out to me either. So, and we know that they're gonna make it. So,
Okay.
but we'll see. And he may not make it. He may not make it, but I put him on there. So
I'm struggling with Jason Poe. I like him. I like him a lot. I'm not sure he'll be able to crack the 53.
right.
Because I just didn't. He didn't play. I don't even know if he has the ability because of his size to play the position that they have him at.
Yeah.
And I think to me that's my question mark. It's not about his will or things like that. It's just he might not just be able to play guard in the NFL. So we'll see what happens with Jason Poe. Not a knock at him. I just think they got him out of position.
If anything, I think that he could make that practice squad.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think anybody will come get him. So yeah,
We'll
I
see.
will say that.
We'll see how that pans out. Mose, you chose the undrafted free agent, Joey Fisher. We all got an undrafted guy. We all got Il Manning. But you chose Joey Fisher. So talk to us.
And I think he just offers some inside-outside versatility. I know he has the athleticism, but I feel like he could be a good insurance plan in the event that something happens with Aaron Banks or Spencer Burford. I think Jake Brendel will be fine. I think if we needed Joey Fisher, to kind of play center, I think he could do that. Jalen Moore has inside-outside versatility, but I think he's going to be more a tackle for us. Same thing with Il Manning. So I'd rather have those guys on the squad, knowing that they played well for us, OTAs, training camp, and in the preseason, and then have them, on the sidelines, watching games happen, watching Trent Williams go about his business, listening to the calls come in from Kyle Shanahan and Chris Forrester, understanding how, we like to set up those blocking schemes. I think it's a part of on-the-job training that I think will be really good for those young guys. And, from the options, to me, Feliciano didn't look good. Pryor didn't look good. Zakel's out of here. And again, I've said this before, but I'm done with the Jason Poe experiment. If you're not going to play him at center and just let him be a backup center, which I still think he's too small for that, then, like you said, he's not a guard. He's not a tackle. I don't think there's anything more that you need to see from him or anything that he offers. I know he's very athletic. I know he can run the rock. I know he can catch the rock. He kind of showed that he's kind of one of those do-it-all type of guys. But unless you're going to build a package and have him at H-back or put him at fullback, then what's the point of wasting the roster spot? So that's why he didn't make my team.
Yeah. That completely makes sense. Like I said, there was just, the O-line to me just don't look that good. So that's a lot of, but yeah, you guys are probably right. Poe will probably wind up on the practice squad. Absolutely.
Yeah, the woes of the offensive line or the woes of the offensive line. You got a bunch of guys out there that are trying to gel together. And, they have to do it in the preseason. It's not like these guys, and I will say, and to be fair to them, they look damn good in the last preseason game. I mean, they gave up some pressures. Yes. Did they give up any sacks? No. So they look decent. They look like they were gelling. But again, at the beginning, you had at least 4/5 of your starting offensive line out there, minus Trent Williams. And I think when Trent's out there, it elevates the level of play from those linemen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens when the season starts. I mean, it just sucks that we start on the road and we got to go to Pittsburgh and deal with one of the most ferocious defenses in the league. But we'll see, man. What other game to get whipped into shape? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think the offensive line may fare well. I don't know. So Mose and I, if I'm not mistaken, we have 25 offensive players, and Peachy, you have 26. All right. All right, let's go to the defense. Ooh, the defense. All right, Mose, you're going to go first on the defense. Peachy, go second. I'll close it out. So, Mose, let's start with the defensive linemen. That's your edge rushers and your interiors together, for those that don't know what a defensive lineman is.
I got 10. I got 5 and 5. On the outside, I got Bosa, Drake Jackson, Cleveland Farrell, Austin Bryant, and Robert Bill Jr.
Love it.
Inside, I have Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, Kevin Givens, and T.Y. McGill.
I feel like we have the same 10. Peachy, how many do you have?
I just have
We got two differences. Well, we got a couple of differences.
I have 9. That's who I have. So
All right, so you have that. Who are your 9?
I just don't have Bill. I have Bill going to the practice squad. He hasn't because he hasn't. I mean, he hasn't really practiced that much with. You know what I'm saying? So you really didn't get to see him. And like, I'm excited about him or anything, or, but I just don't think that you saw him enough.
That's fair. I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. Who are your 9, though?
It's, I have Bosa, Jackson, Hargrave, Armstead, Kinlaw, Farrell, Bryant, Hyder.
Oh, Austin Bryant. Okay.
Yeah. Hyder and I forget Givens.
All right, so I heard Givens twice. All right, so
I'm sorry, my bad.
No, not from you, just from you and Mose.
Oh, okay, got you.
So no, I don't have Givens making this roster.
Got you.
So I have 9, not including Nick Bosa. Okay, so because Nick Bosa has not signed his extension or reported to camp, he will not count for a roster spot. So I'm not going to put him on the roster.
Oh, then I have 8 then.
That's why I have him
that
starred.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Once he returns, once he signs the extension, or at least just reports to practice, then the Niners will have to do their due diligence, and somebody's going to be expendable because Nick Bosa will take up a spot. So I have a total of 9. Nick Bosa will make 10, but I don't think any of my 9 are going to go anywhere. But it could be Robert Bill Jr. So I have Hargrave, Armstead, Jackson, Farrell, Kinlaw. I have Marlon Davidson, Kerry Hyder, T.Y. McGill. I chose Robert Bill Jr. because you need edge rushers, and he provides speed. So I'm okay with allowing him. I'm okay with getting him on this roster and just figuring out what you're going to do with him. I know he hasn't practiced, so Peachy had a very valid point. If you cut him, he's gone. But he went to Georgia, and he was a beast, and I think he would not clear waivers. He would be gone. So I don't want to risk that for me, Peachy. But I love your list. Love your list, Mose. I didn't choose Kevin Givens because of 2 people. Marlon Davidson and T.Y. McGill. They're just better from what I saw. Now, I know Kevin Givens gives the experience. He's good when it comes to, as far as pass rushing. When we're talking about that run stuffing, I feel like you can get that from Marlon Davidson, who had 4 stops in the backfield. Shout out to Marlon Davidson. As well as a sack. T.Y. McGill looks like he's fitting the system in year 2 a lot better. Remember, they picked him up last year, and it was just him trying to get whipped into shape, and he just couldn't get it going like consistently. But it looks like he's had a good camp, and then you saw some fruits of his labor in his games as well. Mose, why am I not sold on Kevin Givens this year? Why do I feel like he got played off the team?
I don't know. I mean, he didn't flash like Marlon Davidson, but to me, Marlon Davidson hasn't been in this system long enough to outshine him. Like, I could see if Marlon Davidson played so well that he got run with the 2s, but he was getting runs with the 3s and the 4s. So I think when we talk about if someone has to go in and play, who has produced in season for us? Not preseason.
Fair.
Who has produced in season when he's had to come in on spot up duties? To me, it's Kevin Givens. And, despite, what people may think with, the recent events, this team does have loyalty to players that have been in their system, that have been model citizens, that show up every day, that put on those pads, that lace up those cleats, and they work hard and grind. Kevin Givens is one of those dudes. We may not have seen an ascension into, starter level play or, stardom or superstardom, but he has been consistent in offering the depth that we need, which is why, he's been able to stay on the team for so long. So while Davidson has flashed, I think, Givens has that cachet built up from just years of being consistent as a reserve on this team.
I've seen the 49ers walk away from those type of players. They let Kentavious Street go. They was like, no.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so,
But Kentavious Street wasn't one of their guys.
It was one of their guys.
They inherited Kentavious Street.
No, they drafted Kentavious Street. They drafted him in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Sure?
I had the thing up. Yeah, he was a 4th-round draft pick, Mose. That's how I know. For the simple fact that I don't think the Niners hit well in the 4th round. I did that on my show this morning, so that's why I know. But they did draft Kentavious Street, and as strong as he was,
2018,
he couldn't get it in. Pause.
So
Whoa. Now this isn't about Kevin Givens declining. This is about.
But I mean, okay, yeah. Talk about Street. They drafted Street, and Givens was an unrestricted free agent.
Right, he
who's
beat him
still
out
on this team.
Right, he beat him out. So my question is, what if Givens now has gotten beat out? That's my thing. Do you still offer him a spot?
I think it's possible that he could get beat out by anything. I don't think Marlon Davidson has done enough to do that. Maybe T.Y. McGill has, because he was here last year and is a little bit more comfortable in the system now. So maybe T.Y. McGill has, but I don't think Marlon Davidson has.
Okay. Fair. That's super fair. I mean, we all have our differences. I just like the energy and the motor Marlon Davidson plays with, and that he's able to give you dominance in the run and in the pass rush, right? So stopping the run and in the pass rush. And I feel like that's what we need. Let me ask you this question. If it came down to Kinlaw and Givens, who would you pick?
Javon.
Peachy?
Kinlaw.
Okay.
More upside. Dude, he's a beast. And if he could just figure out, one, how to stay healthy.
Yes.
And two, if he could figure out a few more moves. If he could just work with Bosa to just work on his hands. Like, yo, we know that you are we know you are one of those country strong dudes. And for a good 65, 75% of the guys that you face, you could just bully them out of the way. But when we start to play some of these upper echelon teams that have really solidly built offensive lines, you're not just going to be able to bull rush everybody.
Right.
You got to give me something just a little bit different. Use your hands just a little bit more. Try to stay as low as you can to build that power and that leverage. Just give me something else than just a bull rush and trying to manhandle everybody. But because of that physical strength, and his tenacity, I think if I had to pick between those two, I'm going Kinlaw.
Kinlaw's been struggling, though. I mean, struggling. Not saying he won't meet this roster. I'm for Kinlaw. I think Kinlaw, I just want to see him play football one more year. And
yeah, he's definitely been getting pushed around out there. That's kind of crazy.
And that's why I said he needs to figure something else out because
Right.
Philly put on tape how you handle this guy.
Yes.
And that you just put two dudes on him. Yeah, he's country strong, but you got to put two dudes on him. So he needs to figure out how to, continue to win those one-on-ones. And he needs to also figure out how to anchor when he's getting those double teams. I feel like he's strong enough to just stay there. But he gets like lifted up off of his feet. I don't know if when he gets in that situation, trying to dig into the dirt and anchor against a double team, it's kind of a mental hurdle because of the issues with his knees. So he don't want to put too much force or much pressure on his knees, anchoring against two. So instead of anchoring, he kind of backpedals his feet and then gets lifted up and just moved out the way. He got to me. He's got, if that's a mental hurdle, he's got to get over it.
It could be mental, but Mose, it could just be he just has the wrong build to play in the NFL at that position. And you're asking him to be a monster at 6. What is he? 6. He's tall.
6'5".
That's big. That's tall, right?
Yeah, but he's 6'5", 320.
I know, but for some reason his size is what's causing a lot of these issues. He's like the Mike McGlinchey on defense. I watched them. I don't think Mike McGlinchey was weak. I just think his technique was so piss poor and he couldn't handle certain moves. I don't think Javon Kinlaw is weak. I just don't think he has the proper technique for his size. You know what I'm saying?
I would say it's more technique.
That's all it is. It's not strength, but not too many grown ass men can take on 2 grown ass men. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's tough. Especially if you don't have how we watched that video of Aaron Donald doing the knives and stuff like that? Mm-hmm. Like, that's so you could get them bodies off of you. Those hands are coming at you like knives, right? And so you're using your hands to get those bodies off of you. So I'm just curious. Like, I wonder if that is it. He makes the roster hands down. He makes the roster, but I just think it's a little interesting. Let's get to the linebackers, Mose. You can come back to what you're looking up whenever you're ready. But
yeah, because like Chris Jones for the Chiefs is 6'6", 310.
Different body type though.
No, they the same body type.
They different.
As far as height, yeah.
But it's still a different body type. Like you could be 6'5" but wide base. You could be 6'5" but slinky. You could be 6. It's just so many different 6'5" bases. I just feel like his proportion is what I'm trying to say. It's hindering him. The way his body is proportioned.
How though?
You
got to give me more than that.
Because he's getting beat. He's getting. We talked about his technique not being right. Maybe he can't get the right technique.
But that doesn't have to do with your proportions, though.
It could. If you're tall, like, it's weird because in college he dominated, right? Same thing we watched with Jadeveon Clowney. Like, they were monsters at South Carolina. They were just bigger than everybody else, stronger than everybody else. Then they get to the NFL, and you ever saw fights where the little dude beat the big dude because he just had better technique? Like, it didn't matter how strong the big guy was. Yeah. I just feel like that's what Kinlaw is lacking, plus health, plus the mental, and it's hard for him to get right. I don't know if it's the system. He might go to a different system and his body type fit, but in this wide 9, it ain't it. It could be the system too. Could be. It's weird.
All right.
I'm just saying it could. Look, I'm hoping Kinlaw comes out this season and is mega dope and prices his ass right out of San Francisco, because it'll be well deserved for him. So that's what I'm hoping for. It's just technique. It's really his technique. Not saying he can't learn how to get his body to. If he can't match the technique with his size and use what these guys are trying to counter him with. If he can't counter what they're throwing at him, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
This makes more sense.
Okay.
And that's why I said it's technique based and not body style. Kinlaw looks stiff. Once his hip get locked going one way, he's a lost cause. Chris Jones' change of direction is way better, and he puts the power to it. That's all technique. I don't feel like Javon Kinlaw has ever been, because growing up as a kid and in high school and college, he's been able to move people out the way and just with brute strength that no one ever taught him technique. Which is why Chris Jones at 6'6", 310, had, like Lake said, he's so much more fluid in his change of direction. He could stick his foot in the ground, but then flip his hips and go the opposite way. And he's so mobile that he can get past guys.
He's also comfortable in his body, bro. So you talk about a guy that has fucked up knees that probably can't change direction, period, and is just not comfortable in his body. Why do you think he's been working on his body for the past several seasons? Every year is a different transformation body-wise.
He's trying to get stronger. He's trying to get that fat weight off and replace that with muscle, because with more muscle means the less likely you are to injure certain areas. But because he doesn't have technique, and he's probably been using bad technique his whole career, that's why his knees are messed up. And for him, at this point, it's too much of a lost cause. So he's trying all of these different things out, but it's too late. I think he should be working on more footwork stuff, more agility stuff, more quick twitch stuff, even for how big he is, to kind of add that mobility and fluidity that Lake was talking about.
Yes, I look. I'm not. I mean, first, he just must have terrible trainers, because maybe he's trying to, but maybe he's trying to work on it and he can't do it. Maybe his body, but maybe his body won't allow him to be mobile, and that's why he's struggling. Like literally, I feel like we both can have right points. I just don't feel like in the NFL, in this particular defense, he's gonna ever be mobile. Right? This is like asking Trey Lance to throw short passes. It ain't for him. So I think the Niners find a way to move on. But if he has a dominant season, I don't even know what that entails. Right? I don't know if that sacks, stops, just being healthy for 17. I don't know. But I feel like if he does what he needs to do when he's asked to do it, to me, the only thing I think Kinlaw has going in his favor is that he's not a starter. And if we watch them struggle, Mose and PG, and the preseason, is because he was in the game. After that first game, he was playing a lot of the snaps. We know over time he just wears down, right? And so, like, maybe what I'm saying is, if he's not a starter and he's coming in fresh, he could get you those 2-3 good snaps, and then they get off the field, and then they use him again over time. You know what I'm saying? So you're right about technique. I'm not disagreeing with you about the technique. That's 100% right, because I said technique as well. But something with his body ain't mathing. Something. And I don't know if Chris Jones might just be comfortable in his own skin, and he has that technique that you were talking about. He was trained how to use his body, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and that's the only thing. I don't think it's Kinlaw, like Kinlaw's body is not able to do it. I feel like injuries are what's hampering, because you can train your body to do anything.
Anything, yes. Yeah, you're right. You're 100% correct. I just feel like I don't want to say he's a lost cause. The Niners have to figure it out, though.
Yeah, it's not a lost cause, but what we anticipated him being.
Oh God,
we either have to be comfortable with him not ever being that, or like you said, we have to move on.
Which is where I am, though. I think mentally I'm comfortable with him not being DeForest Buckner. I think at some point, y'all have to let it go.
Yeah.
Right.
Buckner's gone in Indianapolis, and he gets up with his boys whenever he does, but he's not here. That's over with. The ship has sailed. The only thing we need to be worrying about is finding a way to get Nick Bosa back on this defense. All right, let's get to the linebackers because we could be here forever. And I love that discourse that we have, and we're able to find some type of common ground. Linebackers, Mose, who you got? How many you got?
5. Fred,
Okay.
Dre, Burks, Graham, and Winters.
Nice. Peachy, how many you got?
I got 6.
Who do you have?
I have Warner, Greenlaw, Burks, Winters, Graham, and I have DFF making it because if we cut him, then that's a cap hit. So I don't know how big of a cap hit. I think it's like almost $2 million or something like that. I believe it's some kind of cap hit or something. So that's why I have him on here, even though he's like annoying, and because I didn't like his play out there, and he was getting ran over. And I didn't like it. Some missed tackles, a whole bunch of stuff going on out there. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's a cap hit.
Interesting.
So that's why I think that we keep him, even though I know how bad he looked because I watched him.
He had a decent game last game.
Yeah.
He's
That's
just
true, Woody.
he's just not a starting linebacker
Right.
in the NFL. That's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Again,
That's true.
another player that just has to play their role.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if our linebackers go down,
Exactly.
he has to be able to come in
Yes.
and do that. I want to know what type of cap hit he has. I know Orrin Burks probably has some type of a cap hit as well because they signed those deals. So you might not. These might be automatic locks. I didn't know DFF got a deal like that. I thought he got a 1-year deal.
I thought that he had a cap hit.
Interesting though, PG, because I have the same 6. DFF is your special teams like ace. I know Orrin Burks was brought in for special teams, but I wouldn't be surprised if Orrin Burks is the Sam linebacker for the 49ers.
Right.
Greenlaw be the Will and base packaging, and Fred Warner out as your Mike.
Yeah.
I think Jalen Graham, I think both rookies make it because I think you have your backups. You have your backup Will and your backup Mike. And I think you can use DFF to play any one of those if need be. So I got 6 linebackers.
I have it right here in the Athletic. It's 1.25 million dead money hit.
Nah, the Niners won't have a problem eating that shit.
You don't think they will?
Nah, they ate Nate Sudfelds, and that was 3.
Facts.
Okay, so yeah, but
But I have him making the roster anyway. I got 6. I'm with you. I have 6.
yeah.
Mose, how you feel about DFF, man? Because you don't have him on your list, and we do.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Yeah. I mean, that's a starting linebacker.
He doesn't do anything special for me.
I just feel he's good on special teams. Like
He is that.
and I want our special teams to be lights out.
Oh yeah.
He can give you good plays. He's like a backup quarterback, right? He can come in, he can play well for a game, and then the next game is
Yeah,
over.
he can spell. He can spell for a minute, and then he's yep.
Safeties. Mose, how many you got?
4.
Peachy, how many you got?
4.
I got 4. Mose, do the honors.
Get Huff, Tig, and Odom.
That's my 4, Peachy.
The
You got
same.
the same 4? Let me ask you this. Taylor Hawkins broke his hand.
Yep.
Was Taylor Hawkins going to be replacing George Odom?
I mean, the way y'all talk about Odom being an all-pro special teamer, I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not. I mean, facts are facts, bro. I mean, I can't make up that he made the special teams.
No, I'm not saying that you make it up, but like everybody's like, oh, he's an all-pro special teamer. He's an all-pro. He made special teams all-pro. Blah, blah, blah.
It's got to be hard. I mean,
You
that
can
was
find somebody else to run down the field and tackle on a
son.
kickoff.
Nah, you can't. It ain't the same, man. You got to know them spacings and them lanes, and he got it, bro. Look.
Bro,
Look,
football
what
is
was
football.
what
If
was
you-
no
if
football
you
ain't
need- if-
football. Football ain't foot. You go out
If
there
you
and
needed
say,
to go
play
out there in
football,
special teams
football.
and make a tackle, if you needed to go out there and play special teams and make a tackle, could you do it?
Absolutely, but my point
All right,
is,
all right
you
then.
got to understand.
All right
he
then.
has an assignment.
Breezy, you like 5'6".
Bro, I am not 5'6", Mickey Ficky. I am 5'8 3/4". I'm almost 5'9", you mother. I can tell you that right now. Don't come in with that 5'6" shit. I am not that short. Nothing against the short people, but I'm just saying. Just because you 6'4", don't gotta call me 5'6". Mother sucker, yo. You could do this on Mo's channel by yourself. Now, I'm just playing. No, but seriously, yo. Hey, he made special teams as an All-Pro. That's it. That's what we did. Cornerbacks. Now we moving.
5.
I got 6.
Shit. Peachy got 5. Let's go with her 5, and then Mo's, we're gonna see if we got anybody different.
Okay. Didn't put these in the depth thing, but I have Lenore, Womack, Thomas, Ward, and Jameson.
Lenore, Womack, Thomas,
Ward, and
Ward,
Jameson.
and Jameson. Okay.
That's
Well, I
what
got the same 5. Mose, who's your 6th?
Luter.
So you did pick Luter. So you think they take Luter off the PUP tomorrow and he makes the roster?
I think it's something that they see in this kid.
Oh, I love it. I want it to be Luter. He hasn't, like Peachy said about Robert Bill, he hasn't done anything, but if you put him on PUP, he won't play this year.
Right.
I'm cool with that though, because that's an easy stash.
Yep.
But I like that you picked Luter. You are the man for picking Luter. Guess who I picked?
Isaiah Oliver.
Yeah, the non-fan favorite, right? Like I picked the one that struggled the most in preseason, who got exposed the most in preseason. People were like, why would you pick Isaiah Oliver? I think in preseason he was challenged to see what his limitations are, and I think if it's a slot, if he's covering the slot, he's playing in the nickel, I think you don't want him on the smaller, quicker guys. I think that's his issue. I don't like it, but we're so used to having smaller slot guys as well. So we've had K'Wan Williams, and Jimmy Ward was a smaller guy. Talk about as far as height, right? The thing you got from K'Wan Williams and Jimmy Ward was that they were great tacklers. I'm curious to wonder if his tackling ability is the issue because of his size. Now, I will say that listening to Steve Wilkes, and not that I say that I agree with him, but do you waste a roster spot on a guy that you're trying to get a special matchup with? Because Steve Wilkes made a great point, and he was like, yo, you never know who they're going to line up in the slot. They could be tight ends. It could be this. It could be that. And he likes the matchup with Oliver on those bigger body wide receivers, bigger body pass catchers. But he's getting toasted and roasted in the slot. And so we'll see. I what's his cap hit? Do you know? Can you look that up? Because the Niners signed him to a 2-year deal, right?
Yeah, hold on.
Dude said I was 5'6". This motherfucker, yo. I tell you, man. No respect. I'm the Rodney Dangerfield out in this motherfucker, yo.
He has a cap hit of,
And like, what's his guarantee too? Like, is it, you know what I mean?
he's got a cap hit of 1.6.
They don't have any problems walking away from this
1.7,
motherfucker.
but he has a dead cap. Like if we cut him, he has a dead cap hit
Oh.
of 2.9. But like
Again,
you
it's
said,
not,
if
it's
if
not
we
at
got
that
rid
3
of-
mil.
Yeah,
It's not at that 3 mil.
which I think why that number is what it is. His signing bonus was
It's right here, 1.83 mil. And then he's getting 2.9 million guaranteed. You have the same numbers?
no, I got something different in it because what I have may just be for this year.
Okay. But I
have
just
his
I just have him making the roster now. Who's the guy out there, Peachy? People are saying that we should go after and get Desmond King.
Desmond King, yes.
So y'all think Desmond King gonna come in here and fit this defense just like that?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so either.
And Desmond King is old.
Old. I'm talking old. Y'all didn't like Josh Norman. Y'all ain't gonna like Desmond King. I had to bring up.
No, my bad. I thought he was older than this. He's only 28.
That's old. Them knees is old. Because K'Wan Williams started looking old. Jimmy Ward started looking old. Like, the slot, man, I need a young dude. How old is Isaiah Oliver? 26?
Yeah, 26. He'll be 27 in like a month.
Look, man, you know what's going to be fun? Tomorrow, the shit will be revealed.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Peachy, I know you play sports. Mose, you play sports. It's like making the freaking team. Remember in high school, and why would the coach put that shit on the door so everybody could see? Coaches be doing some dumb shit. They could have just slid in my DMs or sent me a email.
Well, we didn't have DMs back then.
We did not have DMs back then, so it had to go. But damn, if you didn't make that roster, that was like a fucked up day though, and for the rest of the day in school, right? Like it was a 8x11 piece of paper, and there's a few of them, and they be hanging on the door.
Ugh.
Man.
I will say this. The thought of Desmond King, now that I know that he's only 28, isn't that bad. And I feel like the only reason why he got cut from Houston is because now Houston has Jimmy Ward, and that's redundant. So Ward knows DeMeco's system, whereas Desmond King doesn't. But also, here's what else Desmond King could help us in as a veteran. Special teams as a returner.
That's true. I just don't know.
It would be a name to watch out for, but
what was his contract? Because at the end of the day, if the 49ers sign anybody and it ain't Nick Bosa, we got a problem. So I will rock with
that.
And then there's that. I would rock. What's going on, Terrence? I would rock with what we have. I think Nick Bosa makes everybody on the defense that much better.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. But we all know that every year the 49ers do something. Like a trade or something like that.
Like you mean Elijah Mitchell's going to get traded tomorrow? Is what you're trying to say?
I have been on that thing for months. And I still I don't know. Like I really don't know, but I'm not coming off of it because you just never know with the 49ers what they're going to do. You just never know.
What would you accept for Elijah Mitchell?
What was he, a 6th-round pick?
6th-round pick. What's the minimum?
I mean, I feel like we just got a 4 for Trey Lance, so ain't nobody going to give us a 4.
I'll take a 5th.
I'll start at 5.
Yeah, I'll
start
take
at
a 5
5
too.
I'll take a 5th. I think we'll ask for a 3rd, just because.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you got
start high.
Hey, start high, and then you.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you find a way to meet in the middle.
So here's the thing, right? Let me just remind you. I don't think the 49ers draft well in the 4th round. Joe Williams.
God.
Trash.
Kentavious Street.
Trash.
Mitch Wisnowski.
Trash.
There you go. Hold on. And Spencer Burford.
Probably the only one that's not trash.
So I'm not sold on 4th round picks.
I'm not sold on any round, but 5 and maybe
and
3.
3
and 5.
Yeah.
That's
so you
it.
would think 1, 3, and 5 would be the odd numbers. No. 1 is we should never draft the 1st round pick ever again. I would rather take our 1st round pick, trade it for some 2nds and some 5ths.
For some 2nds. Some 3rds and 5ths. So, yeah, I'll give you this 1st round pick for 3 3rds and 2 5s.
We've hit in the 1st round a couple of times. Brandon Ayuk.
Okay, we got lucky with Bosa.
Oh, I was gonna say Bosa and Ayuk, bro. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And Ayuk.
That's it. When we traded up to get Ayuk, because Ayuk was clearly going in the 2nd round, possibly.
No, he was going in the 1st round because if we didn't take him, Green Bay was taking him.
You think they was gonna take him? Green Bay
Yeah,
was gonna
because
take him?
we jumped in front
jumped
of them
up
to get him.
Okay, all right. So Ayuk, but I mean, we'll go over our picks after the roster. Let's do that. Let's do an episode where we go where we feel. And I know it's not draft time, but if there's a trade that pops up, like Trey Lance went for a 4th round pick, so now we're gonna be pressed to use that 4th round pick next year. I would trade that shit for 3/5. Call it a day. It's just me. Let's finish this up. Did we do our corners yet?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to special teams. This is where it's going to get interesting because I don't think everybody has the same list. Tabor Pepper, lock.
Of course.
Mitch Wisnowski, lock.
Unfortunately.
Who's your kicker, Moles?
Moody.
Who's your kicker, Peachy?
Moody.
Who's my kicker?
Moody.
God dang right. That was the easiest freaking special teams portion of the show ever. I thought that was going to be like, I don't know who's going to kick. I don't know.
Moody.
Nah, look, guys. If Moody will make the roster and then get placed on the PUP, if anything, you're not letting Moody go. There will be teams salivating at the mouth
Oh, yeah.
to get Jake Moody.
Oh, yeah, they will.
It would be a dumb move. You spent the 3rd round pick on him. I don't care what other team spent the 4th round pick. Was it Cleveland? Who spent the 4th round pick on a kicker and then they let him go? That ain't us.
Oh, you talking about Cade York? Yeah.
I'm talking about York, right? Who I didn't like. Remember, I talked about that wasn't the kicker that I liked. I told you there was 2 kickers. He wasn't one of them.
Yep.
Plus, I watched him at the Senior Bowl. He was garbage. I could have told you that. But anyway, Jake Moody, I think, finds a way to make this. He's going to make the roster.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
if you need to, there's going to be some spots available. So with Nick Bosa not being here, guys, you have an open spot. That's that kicker. It could be that extra kicker that you take. So you have the luxury of taking a Jake Moody now, monitor his injury, sign a kicker, okay? And then after that, once Jake is healthy and good to go, people aren't high on Jake Moody because it looks like he struggled in preseason. I mean, what was his preseason record? He missed 2, made 3. So he's 3 for 5.
Yep.
That's a pretty goddamn decent percentage for me. Is it decent for you guys? What's 3 divided by 5 times 100? Can't do it in my head.
Well, but my thing is that
I don't care about extra points.
a lot more kicker, like there's other
60%.
teams that
not
got to use their kicker a lot more during the game than we did.
Yeah,
I think that if he had been, if he had some more some
just needs
kicking
reps.
reps or whatever out there, that he would have been fine. He just other teams had their kicker out there almost every time they went down the field. They had their kicker out there kicking. So
no one
That's how it
knows.
goes.
This is a good question from Quest for 6. I don't think he's injured.
I mean, the way that Kyle is talking the last time, he didn't rule him out for week 1. Like he didn't do that. He just said that we need, that we were going to bring in some insurance, which we did, just in case. But I don't think he's even ruled out for week 1 yet because Kyle didn't say that he was. So
But
we'll
Breezy,
see.
if he's not injured, what's the point of holding him out?
Because you can. I think Kyle saw him kick a game-winning field goal and called it a day. He made his decision right then and there.
Oh, one of them where he makes his decision earlier and tries to tell us that he didn't? Oh, okay.
I'm just
Got
saying,
it.
dude, I'm just following the trajectory of our head coach. So
He does that.
he does it. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but listen, here's the interesting part, right? So tomorrow, shout out, $150 consistently. You guys have been in this show, listening to us, blah 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 blah. I love y'all
Love it.
because
Thank you.
I just love y'all. Here's what's interesting. Everybody is going to be letting go of players. I'm curious to know who the 49ers are coveting off of other teams.
That's something to look at.
It sure is.
Tomorrow gonna be a good day.
It happens every year.
I'm gonna be getting
was-
my Ice Cube on. I
Yeah,
can tell you that
was
right
actually
now.
I was actually going through that and looking at some options from other teams of players that I like.
Yeah.
He didn't work out with the Raiders, but Alex Leatherwood,
The tackle.
offensive lineman,
I
I like him.
Do you? Like Alabama kid, right?
Yeah.
Hasn't been able to get right though in the NFL,
I think
Jets
it's,
first,
I think it's
Smo?
a system fit.
right? Or am I
No,
wrong?
he was Raiders first.
Raiders first.
Yeah.
Just
Philly let go of a bunch of O-linemen. They had so many. They
Yeah.
let go of them.
Also, another tackle that we covered in the draft, Jalen Mayfield.
really, he got
He
let
got
go.
cut by Atlanta. Yeah.
So that's
Again,
why
I think
that-
it's system.
that's why I'm saying just pay attention to some of these names. I know we fell in love with all of our players. Is what we do. I think everybody from every team does that. You get to know your players, and you root for them when they're in red and gold. It's going to be a sad day for many players on tomorrow because they're going to be unemployed. But just know that the 49ers will be employing 17 players after they select their 53. So just keep that in mind. Like, the 49ers are going to be doing their due diligence. My question is, who are they paying attention to and from them 31 other teams? Because there's going to be some cap. There's going to be some players cut.
Always is. Yep.
It's going to be some players let go. Listen, man, great show. We got some Super Chat contributions we want to get to, and then we'll dip on up out of here, as my man Lloyd would say. Let's get to the Super Chat contributions, please. Super Chat segment! Everybody wake the freak up.
D, thank you for the super chat. So many unnecessary heading into the season.
So many questions, unnecessary
Necessary
questions.
Yeah.
Headed into the season. D, listen, if you have questions, there's so many formats. Listen, you can hit me up or us up on Instagram. I want to know what your questions are.
Me too.
So if you subscribe to the Instagram or whatever, shoot the question in there. I would love to know what it is you mean, because there's so many unnecessary questions, and I will say the Niners are trying to iron out things a little bit now. Like, right, they've solidified the quarterback saga.
Yes.
It's done. And now it's the kicking. Like, I think he said Kicker Gate out there, Symmetry. Kicker Gate is going on now in Santa Clara. But Nick Bosa is the only unnecessary. I don't know what is going on. And after the breaking news today it's not really breaking news, but after the news from Ian Rappaport today saying that there's no deal, how you say that word? Imminent. That word, like imminent. It's like saying anima. What's the word from Nemo and he couldn't say it? Anemone. I can't say imminent. Did I just say it?
You just said it.
You just said
That's
it.
exactly how you say it.
With like he I don't know. All I care about is Nick Bosa. Like that.
Right.
Like I can't. We're spending a lot of money to go watch the 49ers play in Pittsburgh with possible
Amen.
ability of not having Nick Bosa.
Yep.
Yeah, don't do that to me week one.
We did that in Atlanta, and I wasn't happy.
Yeah. We already know what it looks like without Bosa out there. It ain't
Like
pretty.
in living color too,
Right.
Peachy. Like that's the thing. Like we were there,
being
and not
there,
having
watching
Nick
it.
Bosa.
Yeah. It's no. Sean, thank you for super chat. Hi, Sean.
Wait a minute, Sean. This is the worst super chat I've ever seen in my entire life.
Facts.
Like,
This is not like him at all.
this is something I'm gonna call Sean after this episode. Something's not right. I've never seen a high. It's usually
a one word super chat.
and he spelled it right.
I think that this might be an alien. This might not be Sean.
That might
The
not be
alien
Sean.
might-
It might
I think
not
his account got hacked.
be. Okay, that's what it is.
But then that means his bank account got hacked because they able to get the money for the super chat. That's a problem. We
That's
might need
scary.
to report that.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
That's
we
a
gonna get on it.
massive problem. Shout out to Jax with the super chat. T-shirts will be available soon.
What T-shirts is she talking about?
I think that Jax is
Her and Callie was going back and forth in the chat for a little bit, so
is
it might have
making
something
the
to do with
T-shirts.
that.
Now, at first, she was making 17-0 t-shirts.
Oh, she changed that shit real quick today.
This morning on the Wayne Breezy show, she had changed it to 13-4.
No.
So
See, I've seen so much more realistic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm so
kinda
glad
does.
she's seeing the light, you know. But it'll probably be 17-0 tomorrow. All right.
Shout out JP Hella Hard 2800. Mose, you got the shirt on, I see.
Yes, sir.
Conquer the West. I love that shirt. That shirt's awesome.
That shirt is
Shout
fire.
out,
And
shout
it
out to
feels
JP
good.
for sending it to me. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Same here, man. It feels so good, so comfortable. It's like the perfect cotton. Like, it's not that hard
Right.
cotton. Did I say that? That sounded bad? Oh, well.
Let me see. What else we got here?
I didn't know what else to say.
I wanted to address this right here. Can You Stand the Rain is new edition. Boyz II Men remade whatever they made, but new edition are the originators of Can You Stand the Rain.
It's
Yeah, I
true,
saw
but he
that
might
too.
like
I
the
was
Boyz II Men version better. It was a cappella. I ain't mad at him. I'm saying that because I'm a Boyz II Men fan.
He might not be old enough. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't old enough for
maybe
new
or that.
edition. I
You
didn't
don't
think
know
about that.
Or that, you know.
That's a good
but
point.
That new edition. Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now because I'm the only person in the world that can't stand Johnny Gill's verse. Like I just felt like he came in and he sung it too. It was too harsh. like the Ralph Tresvant part.
Hey, do you remember when they first joined up?
Yes.
He joined the group.
Yes.
How much like vitriol they gave him because the
they
rest of
couldn't
them
stand
sounded so young and everything.
Yeah.
And he sounded like
He sounded like three grown ass men.
Love
He
caught it
Right.
bad. Like he caught it real bad. Like why is this grown ass dude that's old enough to be their father?
But listen, Johnny Gill was dope though. He just didn't fit the group to me. And it's weird because they were trying to replace Bobby, but even Bobby, even though he had more of a raspy voice, it didn't sound old.
Right.
Didn't sound old.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Niner Cali Boy, thank you for this. Cali Stickfit, Niner Cali Boy. Great show. Appreciate you all. NGN best damn pod. Thank you very much, Cali Boy. We appreciate
Niner
that.
Cali Boy wife made. Let's open it up on air. I didn't open it yet.
Yeah.
So she sent me these new towels. These are good towels too. These aren't them cheap ass hand towels that you get. I don't know, man. Hit him up. Don't be mad at me. I didn't know this shit was coming. So
why didn't I get one?
Why didn't I get one? You know what I'm
Y'all
saying?
better
didn't
hit him
Peachy
up.
get one?
Don't beef on my
Whatever.
show. I tell you that. Y'all better beef outside the show. But I will say this. This is her new design. All right. And see, these the good towels. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I need one of those.
Die hard, which
Oh,
is what we are.
nice.
We
Yes.
die hard.
We are die hard. Definitely die hard. That's
why
true.
we give this team so much flack.
Yes.
It's upside down because I can't read.
Yep.
There it is.
Because we care.
Thank you to my sister for making these. Now, please, can you send out to Peachy, Mose, and Fair, because they're gonna hit me up after the show. So make sure you hit them up, please.
Breezy, Barack O'Niner said you aren't joining us in fantasy this year.
I'm in so many leagues. I don't know who fuck league I'm in. I would say yes. I think I'm in it. You see my name? If I'm in it, I'm in it. I'm in it, and I'm in it to win it. I would say
Hopefully
that.
you didn't miss it.
Oh, good point. Dang, Peach. Yo, I had a draft last night because I was bored, so I did one of those free public leagues. And I'm sitting here creating stuff. I'm trying to create. If you guys want the towels, hit up, put his name in here, Niner Cali Boy, and hit him up. And his wife makes these, all right? And for a small fee, they'll send you out the towels. Now these are handmade, so don't think they're custom. So you're gonna pay a little bit more for them.
Not a Cali Boy right there.
But show love. Well, you know what about the Niner fans, the faithful, not fans, the faithful? They have zero problems supporting their own. Zero problems. I can't speak that for every other freaking fan base, but this is why we're the greatest fan base, and you love them or hate them, right? Because when we whine, but we dine and we have a good
Yeah.
time. Like, that's who we are.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? So Niner Cali boy, please hit them up. Nigel, you got to hit them up. They do have an Instagram page.
Yes.
And I think you can access from the Instagram, but I don't know it off the top of my head. All right. So there it is. Symmetry. You have to stop in the chat. Sim.
He been going crazy.
Yo, who woke Symmetry up, yo? Like, he was sleeping giant for the longest.
Right.
He is officially back.
He's back.
Harder, soft cotton. Beat Street. That was funny. That was my movie too. Guys, what a great show. Thank you guys for the super chats. We truly appreciate you guys out there. Listen, Rick has a question. This is one of the questions that I saw, and I wanted to get to this because Rick tunes in every single week, every single day that we do stuff. And he says, what do you think the record's going to be on the 49ers this season? Can you tell me, please? Is a question to you. What was my record prediction? 13-4?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. It was 13-4 with Brock, Trey, and Sam. That shit ain't going to change. Like, Trey's gone. Brock is the guy. I'm super ready to see what Brock can do year 2. I think he's going to be just fine. I think the offense is going to be more gelled, more in sync. Everybody's gotten older in the offense, which means everybody's become more well-tuned, refined in what Kyle Shanahan wants. And if Brock Purdy could continue to make the strides that he made last year, I think the offense takes a step up. My only concern, and it's just one, it's not Steve Wilks. It's if Nick Bosa is not going to go, ready to go. That's my only concern, because now this pressure on Steve Wilks is going to be crazy, and he might get fired after 1 year. And it's not even going to be his fault. It's like, Mose, you want to come work for me? I got Nick Bosa. Like, are you going to turn that down? I'm giving you Nick Bosa. Hell yeah, sign me up, coach. But Nick's not here. So the Niners need to figure out and do their due diligence and make it right for Steve Wilks. Plus, if they want another compensatory pick, they better make sure Steve Wilks is straight. I ain't say that on the air, though. There it is.
Oh, Jimmy with the...
You watching Jimmy Garoppolo? It's time to go. Ladies and gentlemen.
No, I'm reading his... They asked him about the trade, the Trey Lance trade.
Oh, what'd he say?
And he kind of threw a shot. He was like, I don't know how the whole thing shook out and everything. While I was there, Kyle was going to call the plays for you. You just got to go up there and execute them to the best of your ability.
Bro, wait a minute. Wait, Mose. Where you been, bro? Jimmy called Shanahan out in a presser, bro.
He sure did.
No, we know that, but he's still throwing shots.
Oh, he's bitter, bro. Jimmy has been bitter.
He's still throwing shots.
Listen.
He says, Trey's a brother of mine, so like I said before, I'm always pulling for him. I think he's got a bright future in the league. Dude's got talent. Just got to get him out there.
Wonder where we've heard that.
Get him out there.
Hey, man, listen. I wonder where we've heard that before. Oh, we got some questions coming in. So we got a couple of more minutes. We got 3 more minutes, all right? The Sentinels Football Channel. Shout out to the Sentinels Football Channel.
Shout out.
Are you guys concerned about Wilks? I already gave my tidbit, so I want to hear from Mose and Peachy. Are you guys concerned about Wilks?
Not yet.
Yeah, I talked about it too. Not yet.
Then the next part of the question is the players love that sideline energy from Saleh and Ryans brought to the game and fed off of it. He'll be in a booth. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Chris Kosaric will be on the sideline, giving them that same type of energy that they're looking for. He has it in spades. So, I think they understand that Saleh and D'Amico were from a different generation. Steve Wilks is one of the older guys, so he kind of doesn't do things the same way as some of the younger coaches do. And I think they understand that and they respect that. But they'll get what they need from Chris Kosaric and the other coaches.
Peachy, anything different?
No, I agree with what Mo said. Steve Wilks being traditional is just that's where he wants to be, and that's where a lot of traditional coaches are. They in the booth. So hopefully there'll be enough of the coaching staff on the sidelines to, hype that up and keep the players going and stuff. So.
I don't think they need any of the coaches hyping up anything. They have Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. I think you can't get more hype than that. When those guys are out there, the energy is electrifying. And that's crazy. 2 defensive players can ignite the whole team. That's weird to me. But hey, it is what it is. And I think I think Fred learned how he can be himself under a guy like DeMeco Ryans and still be dominant, talk that talk, but back it up. And Greenlaw's just don't get stupid penalties this year. Other than that, we're gonna be fine. Like I'm not worried. But like I said, Wilkes is just old school, and there's a possibility that if he feels like it's not getting done, with him being up in the booth, he might make the adjustment. He's been on the sideline before, right? He's coached on the sideline, so it's not a problem. But listen, JP Hella Hard 28 says, don't end the show. Listen, my butt hurts from this chair. And I got to get a good chair, like one of them.
It's because he 5'6" and sitting on a booster seat, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We love y'all, man. I don't even know how to end it. Hold on. I'm going. I'm not even going to say goodbye. There it is. There it is. Hey.
Breezy, Mo's Nose,
Season 3, Peachy.
It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's Nose, Peachy, Breezy, and Fair to God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you 9 to talk. We 2 gorilla, silverback, 9 silver.
You know it's busting good discussion cause we get it in. Every time you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's Nose, and Fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk. Nitty gritty, it's the lightest talk.